Good evening, everybody. Welcome by Mindful Elevation Caribbean, where we bring you every time another topic where we can continue getting information and knowledge when it comes to our health, wellness, and well being. So, tonight we're going to be talking about magnesium. That is also an important part of our body and also uh, supplement, if I might be able to call it like that. But our guest can correct me if I'm wrong. But we're going to be talking about that, what the benefits are for our body, why we would need it, how we would need it, and more in that regard. So we're going to be starting, and then of course, if you have any questions or answer, you're always free to put it in the chat, and then we will always answer them. So, our guest for tonight is Mrs. Natalie Jurado, and she knows the ins and outs when it comes to magnesium. So, good evening, Natalie. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thanks so much for having me today.
You're most welcome. Thank you for accepting my invitation. So, can we start with you telling us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I've been on a bit of a journey over the past 5 to 10 years, especially when it comes to magnesium. It wasn't really that long ago that I was constantly anxious and stressed and overwhelmed. And despite living a very healthy lifestyle, eating organic foods and exercising and doing everything that they tell you you're supposed to do, I was still dealing with these health issues. So my doctors kept encouraging me to use prescription medication, but it just wasn't for me. So instead, I started this incredible journey to heal myself naturally, and I literally spent thousands of dollars and hours and hours and hours of my life trying to figure out what was wrong, trying to find that natural solution to the pain I was dealing with, the insomnia that I was having, and the anxiety that I had, and it was crippling my life. And I started using magnesium daily. My life changed. My everything changed after I started using magnesium. I felt calm. I felt centered. I had all this energy, and I finally slept restfully through the night. And so my mission is to really educate people on the amazing, miraculous benefits of this very little known mineral and help them live their most vibrant and healthy lives.
Nice, thank you. So you were saying that at one point you were feeling so anxious and stressed and overwhelmed. Is it possible to tell us a little bit how that came about?
Oh, I'm sorry you broke up. I can hardly hear you. What was that?
No, I was
Hello?
saying that
Okay.
you were explaining that you were feeling stressed, overwhelmed at one point. So I was
Mhm.
asking if you can tell us a little bit about that process, how it came about for you to be feeling stressed and overwhelmed.
Yeah, so I was living, I'm a type A personality. I'm go, 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 go all the time, which can, of course, lead to stress. But I was doing all the recommendations that people gave me. And they were telling me to meditate, they were telling me to eat a healthy diet, they were telling me to change my lifestyle so that I wouldn't feel quite so stressed. But yet I was still dealing with panic attacks and anxiety and this overwhelming, crippling feeling of stress. And I thought, there's got to be more to this. I didn't want to take all the prescription meds that the doctor wanted to give me. I wanted to get to the root of the problem. I didn't want to just cover up the symptoms. And I learned on my journey that magnesium, it does something very, very, very special in our brains. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system. And that's the system that tells your brain and your body that it's time to relax, that it's time to calm down, that it's time to get rid of that anxiety and that stress. And when I used it regularly, I found that the stress would go away, the anxiety would go away, and that I would no longer feel the panic and the anxiety in my body.
Okay. How you discover actually that magnesium was one of the things that would be able to help you?
I'm sorry, how did I discover it? Is that what
Yes, that
you broke
magnesium
up a little bit?
can be something that help you.
Yes. So I actually had, at the time, I used to own a natural store that sold supplements and skincare and that kind of thing. And one of my customers, I got to know them really well. And she said, you're dealing with anxiety. Have you tried putting magnesium on your skin? And I thought, well, there's magnesium in my multivitamin. Isn't that enough? And she said, try it. Try it on your skin and let me know how you feel. Within days, my body was doing so much better. I went from sleeping 2 hours a night to sleeping 6 hours a night. I went from having regular panic and anxiety attacks to feeling calm and centered, and joyful again. It really was so impactful on my body.
Hmm. And that magnesium that you had to put on your skin, that was some type of oil magnesium form?
Yeah, yeah, it was magnesium chloride is what I started with, and it usually comes in a spray or an oil, and you just spray it on your skin, rub it in. There's also lotions and creams as well, but they're all magnesium chloride based. And who knew? Who knew? It's also the same magnesium that you find in the ocean. So that's why they say that people who live near the beach are so much more relaxed, so much calmer, don't deal with anxiety quite as much because it's in the ocean. It really, really does impact our health.
Yeah, that is true. So, what is magnesium actually?
Magnesium is a mineral. And it's in our food. It's uh, it's involved with over 700 different reactions in our body, and it's present in every single one of the trillions of cells in our body. Our body needs it to function because we don't make it on its own. We actually have to get it from an outside source. So we need to get it from our diet, and unfortunately, the foods that most people eat don't have magnesium in it. The standard diet is filled with processed foods that were full of sugar and all sorts of chemicals, and that depletes our magnesium levels. Instead, we should be eating dark green leafy vegetables and seeds and nuts and whole grains and food from the earth, really.
Yeah,
Those foods are the foods that are very high in magnesium. Unfortunately, we're not a nation that eats a lot of that.
yeah. So then it's kind of like eating vegan, kind of like
Yeah,
to
eat
be able.
plant based because yeah, because magnesium is not found in animal products. So you're not going to find it in your milk and your meat. You're going to find it in your vegetables and your fruits and things from the ground, which is something
Yeah,
we all need to eat more of.
correct. And you said that magnesium isn't being made in our body at one point.
Yeah, it's not made in our body. We have to get it from an outside source. We have to get it from our food and from our diet. And on top of that, we burn through our magnesium levels so quickly. Our body tries to store as much as possible, but stress depletes your magnesium. So does sugar, so does alcohol, so does caffeine. All of that depletes your magnesium levels. So we're dealing with an epidemic of people not
Mm-hmm.
getting enough magnesium into their bodies, but also an epidemic of the fact that we burn through it way faster than we can even use it. So it's so vital and it's so important that we get more of this mineral into our bodies.
Okay. So then when we consume this mineral, the magnesium, how does it work in our body? What's the process then for us to have the benefit of it?
So it's responsible for everything from energy production. It regulates insulin and blood sugar. It relaxes your muscles. It's involved in nerve conduction. It's literally, I mean, 700 different enzymatic processes that occur as a result of this tiny little mineral. We hear people talking about everything from vitamin D to vitamin C and all these other vitamins, but little attention is paid to magnesium, to so much so that the National Institute of Health says that about 70% of the population is severely deficient in this mineral. So, like, this is
Mm-hmm.
a big, big deal. There's this amazing, amazing doctor. Her name is Dr. Carolyn Dean, and she's the author of a book called The Magnesium Miracle. If you ever get a chance, it's a wonderful, wonderful read. And in her book, she says that as much as 85% of those visits are attributed to low magnesium. And that's no surprise because when we look at the symptoms of this of being low in magnesium, we're looking at everything from muscle cramps to headaches to insomnia to anxiety to hormonal imbalances. Like, all of these things come from low magnesium. And all of these things are what people normally go to their doctor for. They say, hey, doc, I haven't been sleeping. Or, hey, doc, I'm having hot flashes, or I'm having all these issues. And so many of them can be traced back to low magnesium.
Okay. But then, and then if you're saying that through plant-based diet you will be able to get the magnesium as well, would that be enough? Or is it that you have to be eating such a high quantity that it's kind of like impossible to get the correct quantity in?
It's tough because part of the issue, at least, and I'm in the United States, and part of the issue that we see here in the United States is that our farming practices are so terrible. We're no longer doing our organic farming. They have these mega farms, and unfortunately, the soil doesn't have the minerals in it that it did 50 or 100 years ago. So our soil is where we get the magnesium. The magnesium-rich soil grows magnesium-rich vegetables. So if our soil isn't what it used to be, then our vegetables aren't going to have the same vitamin and mineral content that they had 50 or 100 years ago. There's some studies that
Mm-hmm.
show that, like, even if we look at vitamin C in an orange, the vitamin C that was in an orange 50 years ago is not the same amount that we have nowadays. We're looking at 5 to 6 times less vitamin C we did before. So even if we spend, we eat all the right things, we eat the leafy greens, we do all that kind of stuff, we may still be deficient. And then if we pair that with that high stress, go, go, go kind of lifestyle, we're further depleting our magnesium, and it can really be difficult.
Yeah. Okay. I can understand that. Now, when it comes to, because we're talking about magnesium in the sense of how it can help you with your stress, anxiety, insomnia, on the one or a few of them. When we talking about doing the yoga or doing your breathing exercise, and then it has an impact on your brain and how the it does releases the different hormones to bring back down the effect it has on your body to feel calmer. Is that the same type of way that the magnesium does work?
I mean, it works on different chemical pathways, but it does give you the beautiful thing about pairing a high magnesium lifestyle with a lifestyle that includes yoga and meditation is that the less stress you have, the less you're going to burn through your magnesium stores. So it's actually helpful. Surprisingly, it's actually helpful to keep your magnesium levels up if you are to do yoga and breathing and meditation. I mean, there's never, I always tell people there's never one magic thing that's going to fix your health. It's a combination of a lifestyle that encompasses wonderful stress relieving activities and eating the right foods and taking the right supplements and treating your body as a temple, really, and
Yeah.
treating it properly in order to really benefit from wonderful health.
Yeah. And then it's also on top of that, it's also that what might work for you might not work for me. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like you said, you have to find what works for you the best. So
Absolutely. We all have incredible different biochemical reactions and beautiful, unique bodies, but we have to treat them
mhm.
differently. What's going to work for a 22-year-old female is not going to work for a 55-year-old male. So, we have to honor
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Are there any health risk when it comes to taking in magnesium?
Absolutely. Um, Magnesium is an incredible mineral in the fact that your body has this interesting safety mechanism, and that if you take too much magnesium into your body, it'll come out the other end. So that's your way of knowing, hey, I've taken too much. It'll give you loose stools, it'll give you an upset stomach, that kind of thing. So I always tell people when you're starting to supplement with magnesium, start low and slow and break up the doses throughout the entire day. The only people that really have to be cautious when supplementing with this mineral is people who have kidney disease, because our kidneys filter out excess magnesium and take them through the digestive system. But without properly functioning kidneys, you don't have that filtration system. So outside of having kidney disease, magnesium is very safe and very effective for almost a majority of the population.
Okay, okay. And then when it comes to how you can know that it would be best for to start taking magnesium, is it that no matter what, because of how we living nowadays, is best to start taking magnesium, or is there, let me say it, a prerequisite to start taking in magnesium?
Everybody needs it. It's a mineral that we all desperately need. But I will tell you a cool test that I like to do for people because many people will go to their doctor and say, "Hey, I need magnesium. I'm low on this mineral. What should I do?" And they'll ask for a blood test. Well, unfortunately, only 1% of magnesium is stored in our blood. And so blood tests are not going to tell us what's happening. The rest of magnesium is stored in your bones and your muscles. So a blood test is very inaccurate. So people always say, well, how do I know I need this mineral? I tell people to do this. It's a very simple test. Take Epsom salt. Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate, and it's relatively available at most pharmacies and grocery stores. So you take Epsom salt, 2 cups of it. I always say add a cup of baking soda because baking soda is a cofactor for magnesium. The bicarbonate is. So take 2 cups of Epsom salt, 1 cup of baking soda, throw it in the bathtub, soak in the bathtub for 20 minutes. If you find that your symptoms are going away, that your headaches are going away, that your muscle cramps are going away, that you sleep better at night, then that's your body's way of saying, yes, I need more of this mineral and it's helping me. Keep doing it. So that's your quick, easy $5 test for whether or not you might need magnesium.
Okay, that's indeed an easy test. I'm
It is.
definitely going to try and see.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then you can also take it as a preventative measure because you said that everybody needs it, right? So it's not only when you're suffering from the headache or the stress
Yes.
or can't sleep.
Yes. Absolutely. You don't want to wait till you're not feeling well to start using magnesium. You want to supplement ahead of time. So focus
Mhm.
on adding more leafy greens to your to your diet, more pumpkin seeds, chia seeds. Those are incredibly high in magnesium. Focus on adding that to your diet and also focus on doing things like taking an Epsom salt bath. I actually tell people take 2 to 3 Epsom salt baths a week. If you are very busy, like most of us tend to be, and you find it hard to soak in the bathtub that often, another option is to soak your feet in a basin of Epsom salt. And you can do that while watching television, reading a book, going, having meetings at the office, all of that. You
Mhm.
can do that easily. So do try and incorporate that lifestyle. And then, of course, you can always add supplements, oral supplements, or even topical supplements like using a magnesium chloride spray. All of that are
Mhm.
very incredible and effective ways to get your levels up so that you're functioning at your absolute best.
Yeah. Okay. And I was indeed going to ask you if you don't have a top, how else you can do it, but you did say you can soak your feet as well to be able to get it. So, and then normally you
Absolutely.
think that like that for the Epsom salt, okay, you might be soaking your feet in it or bathing with it, but you're not realizing what for effect it can have on you.
Yes,
So that's
absolutely.
good to know.
Absolutely. Everything, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's
Our skin absorbs everything we put into it. So it's so important for us to be very cognizant of what we're putting onto our skin and onto our bodies, as well as what we're putting into our bodies.
yeah, correct. And especially nowadays, because you have a lot of people suffering from stress and insomnia, not being able to sleep, and all those kind of thing. It's good to have something because Epsom salt isn't expensive neither. So it's something indeed that you can use easy on a time or day that you kind of like free to just
Hmm.
soak in your feet or take a bath with it. So
Yes, self
yeah,
care is
it's
so
great.
important. We really do not put enough value on taking care of ourselves. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, and it actually, and like you said, it's already start with you just taking a drop or
Hmm.
using the oil on your skin. That's already some type of self care.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is there any other benefit of using the magnesium because you said it can help with your stress and your headaches? Any other benefits?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Magnesium plays a really important role with inflammation. And so many people nowadays deal with inflammation. And we're talking inflammation in your joints that cause pain, inflammation throughout your body that causes swelling or discomfort. It's really an issue that many people are having. So there was a 2017 study that showed that supplementing with magnesium actually lowered what's called your CRP levels. Your CRP levels are indicators of inflammation. It significantly lowered your CRP levels. So it is a very potent anti-inflammatory. Not only that, it's incredible for hormones. We see studies of, especially when it comes to women, as we come through the change of life and as we age, our hormones really change throughout our lives. Magnesium has been shown to help with conditions like PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. It helps with insulin resistance. So those who are dealing with diabetes or pre-diabetes can really benefit from magnesium. It also helps with what we call healthy estrogen clearance. So many of us have estrogen dominance where we make too much of this hormone and we see issues like weight gain and issues like, hormonal issues. And magnesium helps get rid of extra estrogen that is accumulated in our livers. So, I mean, from hormones to headaches to athletes, if you exercise a lot, especially if you're feeling sore, you get that soreness in your legs. Just recently I went to the gym and I hadn't been there for a few weeks, and that first workout was brutal. My legs were killing me. So magnesium helps get rid of extra lactic acid buildup in the muscles, and that's what causes the soreness. So we find, especially when you're using topical magnesium, you can literally rub it on those sore muscles, and within minutes to go away. So it really is, I mean, amazing for all facets of our bodies, of our health, and of our overall wellness as well.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a coincidence. Well, no, nothing is a coincidence, but it just happened that this week I was exercising so heavy that indeed I have sore muscles and knee pain. So to hear that the magnesium can help to ease it up, it is definitely something that
Yes,
I'm going to try, because otherwise, even the
absolutely.
walking was painful.
Yes. Or going upstairs, that's the worst when you're walking
Yes,
upstairs and your legs are sore. Yep, take an
exactly.
Epsom salt bath. Absolutely. Epsom salt baths are magic. Are magic. Absolutely.
Yes, because it's not something that you want to say neither. Okay, I'm going to stop at the gym till the sore muscles get away. So you want to continue, but you don't want
Mhm.
to be suffering so much.
Exactly, exactly. And you know what's interesting? Especially when we sweat, we actually sweat out magnesium. So especially in high temperature places, I'm in Florida where it's hot all year long, So high temperature places, we tend to sweat more. And the first thing we do is we reach for those sports drinks to replace our electrolytes. Well, those sports drinks have sodium and they have potassium, but what they don't have is magnesium. And magnesium is an electrolyte that needs to be replaced every time we exercise. So we definitely, especially endurance athletes or athletes that work out outside, the more you sweat, the higher your demands for magnesium are.
Okay, okay. And then in a case like that, is there a particular quantity that you have to be taking in, or you just have to kind of like monitor it based on your body?
Well, I always suggest monitoring it based off of your bodies because your demands might be different from somebody else's. Absolutely, 100%. But as a guideline, the RDA, the recommended daily allowance, is 350 to 400 milligrams a day. However, that's just barely enough to ward off the 22 conditions that are associated with magnesium deficiency. For most people, as much as twice as much is needed to really feel your best. Personally, I actually take 800 milligrams a day, and I break that up. I don't do that all at once, but I break that up throughout the day based off of food sources and supplements and topical magnesium as well. So it's something to really, but ultimately, I always tell people if you feel good, then you're taking the right amount.
Yeah, okay. And what you said about the 800, you, let's say if you're using drops in water, I can imagine that will accumulate to the 800 at one point, or you will count, for example, oils that you might use it on that day,
Uh,
or
Yeah,
cream.
I account for everything. Yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
try and take it like spread out throughout everything that I do throughout the day.
okay, okay. And how long have you been using the magnesium?
So I've been using magnesium chloride probably for about 8 years now. I also take magnesium oral magnesium supplements as well as using topical. Um, the problem is, especially when I say oral magnesium supplements, people say, "Oh, there's so many types. I don't understand. There's too many. I'm overwhelmed." And they're right. There are several types of magnesium on the market, and unfortunately, people will say, "Well, I tried magnesium. It didn't help." Very likely, you took the wrong type. So there's two types of magnesium that I want to recommend that people avoid. And that type is magnesium oxide and magnesium oxide is in particular, and magnesium carbonate. Both of those types of magnesium are not well absorbed. They're usually put in cheap supplements. It's usually the very inexpensive stuff that you'll see at the pharmacy. And the reason why is because only about 4% of it will actually get absorbed and work in your body. Better options for oral magnesium supplements include threonate, citrate, glycinate, malate. All of those are much, much better options. So I always recommend people, if you're going to start supplementing with oral supplements, to use those types instead.
Okay. Can you repeat the types that you would recommend for people to use?
Sure. The first one is threonate. It's Threonate. It's an odd
Mhm.
spelling, but it's
Okay.
threonate, and that type of magnesium is really good for brain health. So if you have memory fog or memory issues or brain fog or mental fatigue, that one is very good for you. The other one is
Okay.
citrate, and citrate is what you're going to see in very popular magnesium supplements on the market. Citrate is very good for anxiety, but it can be a little rough on the digestive system. So definitely keep that in mind. If you have IBS or any kind of stomach issues, it might be a little hard on you. It might cause loose stools. So you might want to avoid that. But it is very good for anxiety. The next one is glycinate. It's Glycinate. Glycinate. Glycinate is incredible for sleep and insomnia. So that's a great one to take at nighttime right before bed, especially if you struggle to sleep at night. And
Mm-hmm.
then the last one is malate. Malate is Malate. Malate is wonderful for fatigue. So if you, like me, I get tired at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when my coffee starts wearing off. So I'll go ahead and take some malate and get a great boost of energy without a crash, without the jitters or anything like that. That's a wonderful one to take during the day.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then, like you have been saying throughout everything, is that you have to pay attention what for effect it has on your body, so you can know if you can continue taking it and know how much you can take them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Your body is the best thermometer. That's the best barometer for what's happening. Always listen to your body.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then, if you take too much, you said you will take it back out immediately, or is there a chance for you to get an overdose kind of thing?
It's very difficult to overdose on magnesium. Very, very difficult. And for most people, they're just going to get diarrhea. That's basically your body saying, "Hey, you've had too much. We're going to kick it out the other end," which is not fun. Nobody wants that.
Uh-huh.
So what, like I always tell people, start low and slow. Start with a half dose of magnesium, maybe 200 milligrams. See how your body reacts to that, and then slowly over time add a little bit more throughout the day, that kind of thing, so that you don't get the stomach reaction that nobody wants.
Yeah, correct. And then the magnesium, it's just that you can buy it in the pharmacy, or do you, in average, have to go to the doctor to try to get it?
Nope, it's a mineral like anything else, so you can get it at the pharmacy, most even grocery stores I've seen it at. So it's very, very. Amazon has a ton of different brands on there. It's very accessible and easy to get.
Okay. And then if you, let's say if you buy it in the pharmacy or even on Amazon, if you just pay attention to those 4, 5 things that you mentioned, that would be good. If you see those things in it, that is good. So the other ingredients that are indicating in it, it will not have no impact, no effect or anything.
Yes, of course, with all supplements, you want to find the most natural, supplement without added fillers, artificial colors, or flavorings. You want to make sure to find one that is very, very basic with very little ingredients. That's what I always tell people, especially when it comes to Epsom salt. You'd be surprised how many Epsom salts on the market have added fragrance and chemicals. You want the only ingredient to be Epsom salt, so definitely keep an eye for those kind of things.
Okay. Yeah, because we want it to be smelling nice, so that's why you buy the one with the fragrance.
Yes, but essential oils, use those instead of the fragrance. Absolutely.
Yeah, because then, like you said, with the Epsom salt, that your skin will absorb it.
Yes,
Those
yes.
flavor, there might be chemicals, you will observe it too, and then I am assuming it might have a negative effect then.
Exactly, exactly. You don't want to work so hard to do something so good and then wind up harming yourself afterwards.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, Natalie, is there any other information that you would want to share with us when it comes to the magnesium?
Yes, I know I kind of threw a lot of information all at once about magnesium, which it could be overwhelming, and I totally get it. I actually wrote a free guide. I give it out anytime I talk about magnesium, and it covers everything you've ever wanted to know about how to take magnesium. A lot of the stuff that we talked about today. So, if you want to read it instead, it kind of helps, and it can be found at Be Rooted In. That's BeRootedIn.com/magnesium. It's totally free. I've got 5 years of research that I've boiled down into 25 pages, and it's a wonderful, easy to read document. So, kind of just in case you're feeling a little overwhelmed, it's a great way to kind of go back and read what you heard.
Yes. And then where you said that we can find it again?
It's at Be Rooted In, so that's BeRootedIn.com/magnesium.
Okay. I'm writing it down so I can put it in.
Awesome.
Okay.
And one of the last things I want to
Okay.
say about, yeah, one of the last things I want to say about magnesium, and I think this is the most important thing that I'll say all throughout this whole entire conversation, that there's no magic pill. There's no magic anything that's going to make you feel incredible. The best and most effective thing that you can possibly do is eat a good, healthy diet, live a good, wonderful, calm, stress free life, and take care of yourself. And if you're doing all that, you can always add magnesium afterwards, but that is your number one thing that you can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree completely with you.
Oh,
So
awesome.
before
Wonderful.
so before we close off, do you have any tips of or advice?
My best advice is to eat plant based. Eat as much fruits and vegetables and whole grains and nuts and seeds that you can. Exercise regularly and live a stress free lifestyle. That's the best way to live your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you so much. So, audience, today it was a short but very, very sweet. We got a lot of information from Natalie when it comes to magnesium. And I would really like to thank you, Natalie, for the time that you took out of your day to share information about magnesium with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for what you're doing to spread health and wellness to everybody. I think that's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. So, enjoy the rest of your evening. And viewers, if you have any questions, you can always go to the link that Natalie indicated, or you can always get in contact with us. And then we will answer all your questions when it comes to magnesium. So enjoy your weekend, and we'll
You
see you next time.
take care.
You too.